everybody, and welcome back to the Duravent Group podcast. I'm your host, Brian, here with...
Scott Schindelbeck. Nice to see everyone again.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely happy to be here. Welcome to our home.
Enjoying being in this venue. It's very, very beautiful.
So one of the changes we made, we were in an office setting last time. This time we decided to move it to a home setting, and we're sitting in front of the fire. Quite apropos, if you would.
It is.
With some of the venting products that Duravent has.
And it's a chilly day in Michigan today, so we needed the fireplace.
It is a chilly day in Michigan. Yeah. We had 70 or 80 degree weather a couple of weeks ago, and now it's back in the 40s. So what do they say about Michigan weather?
I don't know.
If you don't like it, wait 5 minutes and it'll change, something like that. So. And
it did.
Absolutely. So, but no, welcome to our home.
Thank you.
We bought this a couple of years ago and did a ton of renovation. We took out a bunch of walls, and we kind of made this an entertaining home. So I want to give a special shout out to Emmett's Energy. Eric and his crew there did a great job installing the Duravent DVA 46 here in the fireplace when it had to get relined and redone. They're up in Waterford and in Romeo, Michigan. They have two different locations. So check them out if you're in need for a fireplace in the Detroit area.
Shout out to that. I've driven by the place in Romeo. It's up in my neck of the woods.
I haven't driven by.
I've seen it. I keep thinking I should stop in, so I probably should.
Absolutely. Just to stop by, say hi to Eric.
I will.
So, speaking of shout outs, I want to thank everyone for watching the first episode of our podcast. We filmed it a few weeks ago. It's been out. There's been a ton of activity. I've heard some great comments about what we did, and not sure they're all deserved, quite frankly. But also gotten some feedback in terms of some things that people want to see, want to hear about. But they really enjoyed what they did see. What do you think of what we did, Brian?
You know, I've heard I had more people reach out to me on this than I thought, and I sort of chuckled. I thought some of the people were just being polite and saying, "Oh, great! I saw you, Brian. You look like a fool." Nobody said that actually, but a lot of Duravent people and a lot of people, even external to Duravent, that said, "Geez, that's a really interesting concept," and that was kind of fun. Sure. And keep it up. Good way to go. And the funny thing that I thought about it when I looked. If you've never watched yourself on camera, do it sometime because it's interesting to listen and watch yourself. Some of the quirks you have. That you may want to sort of clean up. So I was more critical of myself, I think, than other people were. And so I found a few things I do that are probably annoying habits that I will learn from. So, but it was fun.
One of the fun things that I received was one of our employees that we mentioned in the first episode. Actually, right after he watched it, he sent me a text and said, "Thanks for mentioning my name. I'm a hero in my house. My kids heard my name on YouTube."
So this must be Pete, the YouTube star.
It was Pete. It was Pete.
That's great. I love that.
So, well, Pete,
you made a hero.
Pete, there
Scott,
you go. You're a hero for a second month in a row.
Pete, you're welcome.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
When I'm in Grand Rapids next time, you owe me a beer.
Absolutely. But I think it was great, though. I mean, to start something, you got to start somewhere. You start with some history, which is great. And I think the theme of it is to inform, educate, and entertain to some extent as well. So hopefully we'll do that as this evolves.
Yeah, for sure. So since we're talking about entertainment, we're gonna start the second segment of our podcast, and the second podcast itself, talking a little bit about some things you and I enjoy to do when we have dinner, when we're out with friends, we go various places.
That was a really good segue, by the way. The entertainment, that was very good.
I tried.
That was well
right?
done. Yeah.
Our coach has said we need to get better at the segues instead of just saying, "Well, thanks. What's up next?" So no, but we're gonna try a wine today.
And this is an interesting one today too.
So why don't you explain a little bit about where it's from and what we're doing while I pour us a taste?
That sounds good. For those of you who are wine drinkers and appreciate wine. So this wine comes from, it's a red. This wine comes from Baja, California, or Baja, Mexico. I think of California when I always say Baja. We have a plant in Mexicali that's in sort of the Baja province, and our finance director from down there, she wanted to bring me a bottle that was from something local, and it was something I hadn't heard of before. More than anything, I had never thought of sort of that portion of Mexico to be a wine region, but apparently near Mexicali, sort of. And this would be, if you're thinking about this on a map, San Diego in California, a little bit south and a little bit east.
So there are mountains there, probably the winds
A
coming
little
off
bit,
the mountain
yep,
and the ocean.
a little bit, but
Okay.
it's inland a little bit.
Right.
But apparently a really interesting wine region. So this is what we're going to taste today. So it has a little bit of a connection to a Duravent plant location down near Mexicali. Shout out to Myra for the selection. Thank you, Myra. Appreciate it.
And the wine is called Carodilla.
Carodilla. And
Carodilla.
somebody will correct us and say how poorly we pronounce that, perhaps, but we tried.
They're going to say we did it wonderfully.
We potentially.
So shall we have a taste?
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. It's nice.
Now, what's the first thing you think of?
It's bold.
It is bold.
It's very bold.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strong. It's a Cabernet.
Yeah.
For those that are asking, it's a 2019. But it's a bold wine, but it has a nice taste.
Interesting, and no odd aftertaste. Sometimes I'm partial to California wines. I'll just say that out loud. And I know some people like French or Italian. No offense to the French and Italians.
American oak or French oak?
French oak. However,
I had to get you
yeah,
somewhere.
I know. You knew the answer to the question though before you asked it. But smooth, really nice aftertaste. Doesn't leave anything strange on the tongue, and is easy to drink.
Sometimes you try a wine from a new region, and you're almost scared to try it, right? And then take a sip, great, and then like you said, you have that aftertaste. You don't have that here.
No. Mm-mm.
What
a little surprised.
What flavors do you taste? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh, you are. A little bit of black cherry.
Yep.
And there's something else. Peppery.
Currant?
Peppery. Maybe currant. I bet there's a peppery. There's something peppery to it too. Black pepper.
It's very good. So this kind of a wine, where would you drink it? What would you drink it with as a recommendation?
The funny thing about red wines, because I love red wines, I drink them with anything.
Okay.
I know people sort of pair light meats and red meats and light wines and darker wines. I make no such distinction.
Right.
I generally will drink a red wine with anything. So I'm not a great person to ask because I'm not that knowledgeable in it. I know what I like. I know it tastes good.
Sure.
So what'd you think? Scale of 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
Five being the best, I guess.
5 being the
Is
best.
5 the best? Yeah.
And so, just like you, I have my favorite regions, my favorite wines. I would give this at least a 4.
I agree. Yeah, I was right there too. But I would definitely get it again. I bet it's going to even get better as it breathes.
As
Very
it breathes
enjoyable.
and as it potentially ages.
Very enjoyable.
What we do want to do, though, is that if you do enjoy a drink, please do so responsibly.
Always.
We're having a little bit of fun with this segment, just to kind of introduce a little bit more about who we are and what we do. But always drink responsibly and take care of yourself and others around you.
Of course.
So
Thank you, sir.
one other thing that we've tried to do at Duravent Group, especially over the past 6 to 12 months, is recognize our employees. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback on social media when we highlight employees, especially those employees that people work with on a daily basis, and those that have stood the test of time. I'll put it that way.
Right.
One of those individuals has been with our company for 53 years. And when I say her name, everyone that's listening, everyone that's watching, they probably have either interacted or at least heard of this individual, Marie Schweitzer. When I say her name, you smile. When I say her name, what do you think of?
There's sort of this sage wisdom. It was the first time I met her when I visited Vacaville for the first time when I started. It was you talk to her and she knows so much about the company. She knew so much about our customers, and she talked about customers like they were friends and family members. So there was just such a genuine sort of dedication and just a genuineness as a person when I met her for the first time. And I don't pretend to know her all that well, but we've met a few times, and just a wonderful lady.
Whenever I visit Vacaville, which is where she works, the facility in Northern California, for those that don't know, she always has is it a Diet Coke or a Coke on her desk, and her cookies or chips, and that's how she professes that she's just maintained, right? It's quite funny, and it's a good joke when we walk by. I said, Marie, you haven't stopped doing that yet? Nope, not at all.
Coke and chips stand the test of time. Yeah.
The first time I met Marie, I won't tell you the entire story, but it was she said, "You're never going to get rid of me. I've outlasted many people." It's a joy to interact with her. And when I'm reading a couple of comments from social media when we did put this out, the greatest CSR ever known. It's amazing, Marie, thinking of you with fond, fun memories. And that one stuck out a little bit because of the individual that said it, but also that Marie, because of the tenure she's had at our company, is now dealing with third and fourth generation employees,
which is really interesting
at companies, and she forged those relationships over time. Marie is now our customer relations manager, which basically she's in customer service. She still handles the customer service duties, but one of her responsibilities is to reach out to customers and see how they are. One of the special things that Marie does, especially with the international customers that she deals with in Asia Pacific specifically, is that area is prone to tsunamis and certain weather events that happen. There were fires in Australia a few years ago, earthquakes, tsunamis, etc. And when those things happen, she reaches out and checks on people. She does that not only for those international customers, but domestic in the United States and Canada as well, those she deals with. And I always get a report after someone responds. Just wanted to let you know, Scott, I checked on so-and-so in Korea or so-and-so in Vietnam or Australia, whatever it is, and everyone's fine. And it's just that personal touch that she gives that really tells a really cool story.
Yeah, I think it's great. There's a lot of lessons to be learned by that level of customer service, and I think not everybody has to take it to that level, or companies. And I'm just talking about customer service in general, by anybody, any company, customer, anything like that. But to take some lessons from that, to really, understand your customers at a personal level, sometimes goes a long way. So.
Well, Marie has been a true godsend to many of our customers, and Marie, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much for all that you've done for our company and for our customers. And saying that, I want to give a shout out to all of the Duravent Group employees. Thank you for everything each of you does every day to help support our company's mission, what we're trying to do, but also to help make our customers better and always going that extra step. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you. We appreciate you, and we've got your back.
Excellent. So moving on to the next section, I had a unique opportunity to catch up with several of our partners at the United Buyers Group meeting, UBG Group, as they're known, in Jacksonville, Florida, at their annual meeting. So we're going to take a listen to a few interviews and a few little conversations we had with customers and a few of our employees that were there at the event as well.
They might not need a fireplace in Jacksonville.
I don't think they're going to need a fireplace. Well, we didn't need a fireplace in Jacksonville, but they did have some.
What they love about it the most is quality, right? That's what I hear the most about it, is they like Duravent Group themselves, but also the quality of the product.
Very happy with it. We took it on through the affiliation with UBG, just because the margins are great, and ever since then, very happy with it. Both my installers and my bookkeeper are happy with the numbers.
There is changes that need to be happening in the industry, and listening to what they were prepared to offer and do, it seemed like they really cared about my business.
Simple use of installation, and again, quality of the product, the warranty that comes with it. That's all you can ask for.
I'm sitting here with the president of United Buyers Group, Dominic Paget. Dominic, we really appreciate being a part of the UBG annual meeting. Tell us a little bit about this year's event.
Actually, this is an exciting event this year. We've been organizing this. We're always 2 years ahead. The location is just phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Yesterday we had the tailgate outside, beautiful setup.
Oh, barbecue, pizza, different meats. It was wonderful.
Networking was just excellent.
Yes.
We had the breakout sessions, good education. We're excited this year because we have about 30% more attendees than we did a year ago, and a year ago was a record year.
So there's what, 450 plus attendees?
We're over 500.
Over 500
Yeah,
now. Okay,
we've had so many walk-ins today, and these are people that are members of our buying group, so they pay an annual fee to be a member of our group. They're all specialty dealers across Canada and the US.
Okay.
And it's only also a select group of supplier manufacturers like you or service providers that are part of the group. So it's a limited number of supplier partners, and it's also membership based for the dealers.
Great. So Duravent Group has been a supplier to the UBG for over 20 years.
Yes.
It's been a great partnership over that long number of years. What does it mean to you as president, but also to your members, to have a partner, number one, who's been around as long as Duravent Group has, but also what Duravent Group can bring to UBG?
Obviously, having a solid manufacturer providing quality products for venting is super important to us, right? So we appreciate long-term relationships, loyalty. Like, it's a loyalty factor that's with us, with you, with the dealers. We like to nurture that loyalty, and having a manufacturer that will continue to improve the product lines, fix the product issues, provide good support, on-time delivery. We've been blessed with the partnership over the years, absolutely blessed. We love the new products this year, the stovepipe, the Ultimate Plus.
Yes.
So those are outstanding product lines that are coming to us this year that will improve the selection, improve the quality, ease the installs. So, and we're also blessed to have been part of some of the development process.
Right.
So when new product lines are being thought of, we've been able over the years to pull some of our best dealers with technical like hints to make the product better in the development. So working with partners like Duravent in making products and work better is important to us.
Well, like I said, we very much appreciate the partnership that we have had. Look forward to continuing that for many more years to come. Again, thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you for having it at this beautiful location. Have you announced to the membership where you're going next year yet?
Yes, it's San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, San Antonio, another beautiful city.
Yes.
Right along the Riverwalk.
We'll be just on the outside of city limits. A beautiful resort, golf-based.
All right.
Yeah, beautiful course.
Well, we look forward to joining you next year.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Dominic. I was just joined by Dominic Paget, president of United Buyers Group, and now welcome to the show, Mike Brown. Mike is our vice president of residential sales at Duravent Group. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
This is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
This location is absolutely gorgeous.
So fortunate, right? I mean, to call this work.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, wow, what a job.
Thank you, Duravent Group.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, Mike, this is your first UBG meeting, annual meeting. What are your thoughts after seeing the first couple days?
Yeah, they really put on a nice show. They really do. There's a lot of education that goes on. The after hours activities are fantastic as well. We were fortunate enough to have a meeting with the entire group this morning. We were able to introduce some new products.
Yep.
And really get some buy-in from those customers as well. Speaking to them on a professional level about the products and where they're going to be used.
Right.
And I think that really resonated with them a lot. So, but no, the show overall, I think I'm blown away.
Show's great. I mean, this year they had a 30% increase in attendance. What Dominic was telling me, over 500 people at this show, and last year was an actual record for them. And so to have another huge growth on top of that, it's very exciting for their group.
Yeah, and then we have the showcase where we've got a booth and all these customers are coming through, and my whole team's here, and which is great. So I've got all 5 of my regional sales managers here. I've got my director of national accounts as well, And we're meeting with all the customers as they come through. And, a couple of guys are new to the hearth industry, like myself. And so it's a little challenging, but we grab the right guys and we get them in front of the customers. And I think we've got a great product line. I think we have a great offering. And I think our customers really like it.
So, Mike, some new products that we introduced here at the show. Last year, we introduced Ultimate Stovepipe.
Correct.
This year at the show, we have just released Ultimate Plus Chimney.
Yes.
What are some things that you're hearing? What's the feedback from the market here at the show?
Yeah, a lot of excitement. Yesterday in our kickoff meeting, a customer talked about ease of installation and how much time he was able to cut off the installation. So much so that one of his installers actually called him halfway through the day and said, "I'm done. Where's my next job?"
Right.
So it really cut off, I think he said, somewhere two plus hours on the install, which is fantastic. It's a great product. And for customers like the UBG members, there's a lot of mom and pop shops. And if you can cut back the amount of time on installs and it's a good quality product, it's just a plus for these guys.
It is, and some great relationships that we've made here. Again, we've been members not members, but we've been suppliers for over 20 years to UBG.
Right.
So several of our long-term salespeople have forged lifelong relationships with some of these.
It's funny that you bring that up. I'm walking with my team, with one member or another member, and I hear customers from across the building yelling at them. "Hey, Andrew, how are you? Dalton, what's going on? BJ?" That's great.
Yeah.
I don't see that on the other side of the business that we have, right? So
Right.
so that they've got a really good relationship with these customers, and I think I think it's great. I think the venue's great. I think the whole meeting itself has been good. I want to come back. I can't wait till next year.
Exactly. Next year, he said it was in San Antonio, so
I'll do it.
We'll see everyone in San Antonio.
Sounds good.
All right.
Welcome back. Scott, on to our next segment. Summer plans.
Summer plans.
So summer plans, business visits, and personal. Keep it a little fun.
Okay.
Right? So you just came back from summer. Why don't you start, and we'll talk a little bit about a little mix of business and a little bit of fun.
Certainly. So I had the opportunity to travel to Italy a few weeks ago with one of our customers in Canada. Every year they do it's a visit, or it's a trip for their top sales performers in the company, and also the top customers that they have. And I was able to go with Powermatic to northern Italy. Went to several different places: Milan, Verona, Parma. Went to Venice, saw Lake Garda. It was a great few-day trip. Great time with a lot of our customers up in Eastern Canada, talking about how business is, talking about new products that we're coming out with. One of those we'll talk about here in a little bit. Opportunities now that we are a full company after the acquisition we talked about in the last podcast a couple of years ago. The magnitude of products that we can bring to the market has changed dramatically, and introducing some of those products to those customers as well. Actually had a follow-up meeting this morning with one of those customers. It was a great trip, great environment, great time to get to know people and our customers, not just in a business setting, but in a personal setting. It's a nice opportunity.
Those things are always a nice opportunity, and then when you can interact personally, but you also interact on the business side. How can we make our customers' lives better, right? What can we do to sort of help them bundle products? What can we do to help them extend their product lines? What can we do to help them sell in different regions? And those are great opportunities to do that, because you have a little extended period of time. You're not time bound to a 1-hour meeting or something.
Exactly. So. And you're there with family, right? So you take a significant other, a spouse, whatever. And so you get to know them as well, and get to know them as a person versus just being a customer.
I love that.
So where are you headed the next couple months?
Well, so business-wise, so one thing, I'll get into a personal one because that's an exciting one, but so business-wise, we have a new distribution center in Las Vegas. So after a lot of studies that we did on effective trucking routes and different things like that, based on where our plants are, Las Vegas was a very efficient location for us to ship out of, and there's a new warehouse going up that'll open in June. So that's very exciting. There's walls and ceilings and roofs and
Walls and ceilings.
No windows yet, but it'll be finished by June, and then we'll start shipping product out of
It's
there.
a very
So
quick construction
that's
project.
exciting. Yeah, if you've ever watched these commercial warehouse companies tip up these walls, they pour them on the ground and just tip them up, and in a day a building's up. It's actually incredible to watch these guys. It's impressive. So that'll be one trip.
When we open that facility
When we
in
open
June.
that facility, yep. And then probably more exciting than that is Hawaii at the end of April. So we'll go to Maui. We actually, my wife and I actually had a trip scheduled to go to Maui it was September. It ended up being 1 month after the terrible fires that they had in Lahaina, and there's a place that we always stay, which is just north of Lahaina in Kahanapali, and so it was just devastated. I remember it took me 2 or 3 days to kind of watch the news and say, is that really happening there? Because I know that town. I've been there a dozen times to see what went on, and it was just devastating, for the folks there. So interesting to go back. Very much open to tourism at this point in time, and obviously respect that area. But that'll be an exciting trip. So we look forward to being back there.
Any other business trips you going on this next few months?
Well, the one plant that I haven't been to, I plan to visit, is in Nampa, Idaho.
Okay.
So maybe people say, Nampa, why do you want to go to Nampa?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
It's
beautiful
really,
area.
really beautiful town. But great plant, great team up there. Really looking forward to seeing the products, and a lot of commercial products we build up there. And they've been fairly busy lately, which we like to see. And so I'm looking forward to see the finance team and plant manager and the team up there.
Great.
So
I'll be headed to Grand Rapids here in a couple weeks as well.
there's an exciting trip.
We'll be doing some. It's a very exciting trip across the state.
I'm making fun of Grand Rapids.
We're here if you know Michigan on a map, and Grand
right.
Rapids is right over
Right
here.
across.
And this is what you do if you're in Michigan. This is our map.
Yes.
We don't use paper.
That's true.
Also, potentially getting down to Huntsville in May. We have an interesting customer event that's happening down there. We're bringing in several of our reps. I think there's 30 people that are coming into Huntsville to see that facility, see some of the commercial pipe being made. A little training session. It'll be an afternoon and a morning, and a nice dinner for some of our customers that night. So it's the first of many that we plan to do, but hopefully get down to see that, and then we hit the summer stretch.
That's a nice visit. That's interesting. So customers are coming into Huntsville. That is a plant that over the past couple of years has really come a long way. They've done a lot to improve product flow, improve material flow, do some machinery upgrades. They've really done a nice job down there in that location. And that's an interesting town. I mean, Rocket City. I mean, the amount of sort of NASA and different things that are down there in Huntsville is, if you've never been there, it really is an interesting little town.
It's a city that if you've never been, you don't know what to expect.
You would not know what to expect.
And you get down there, and the city center is beautiful. The area that you stay, tons of very nice restaurants, and the industry. I didn't expect to see as much industry as it is. It's a growing
And
area.
it keeps growing. I mean, the auto companies, there's battery makers, there's defense industry. It's amazing the commerce down there.
Great. Well, it sounds like you've got some travel plans,
I've got
both
some
business
travel
and
plans.
personal.
You've got some travel
I do
plans.
as well. So for all of you out there, if you're at the facilities, make sure you see us when we're there. But also you enjoy your travels with your friends and family.
Thank you, sir. You as well.
Great. So we're going to hit our last segment for this podcast. One of the things that we're focusing on Duravent Group over the past couple of years, well, really since we've been here for 7 years, Brian, but a real emphasis on the last couple of years is innovation. We talked about Eric DeFour and his group last time, in Innovation Engineering Group. We have a lot more new products, a lot more innovation coming out. We have what we call a vitality score that we look at as a company. And the vitality score of a lot of building products companies is not real high.
Right.
And it's a measure of the percent of new products that make up your revenue. So it's a percent of those products, and it's over, I think our definition is over the course of 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And how that grows. But one of those new products is called the die-capped Wind King, and it's based on an old design. It's been around for a long time, but our engineers looked at it and said, "There's a better way to do this," and in the process developed a product that I believe is now best in class in the market. One of the things I love about you, Brian, is you're not just a numbers guy. You're a very good numbers guy.
I try.
But you take an interest in all parts of the business as a good CFO does. But you have a knack for understanding marketing and sales and how operations dovetails into all those things. And I want you've seen a little bit about the product. Give me your perspective on kind of the top 2 or 3 things that you've seen or been able to look at with a product that people might find interesting.
What I thought was interesting about this product is it actually uses a principle of physics, this Venturi principle, and so it's not your typical cap. It's meant for high wind kind of weather conditions and different things like that, and to actually have the design and it's a simple concept of physics, but air moving through a wider and then a narrower space basically, but to take that into sort of a chimney cap. And besides, it looks pretty sleek too. I got to be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of, if you've seen chimney caps on top of metal chimney, it's sort of whatever. They all look the same, right? But this one has a practical application, and it also is, to me, it looks cool. So
it does look cool. And what I said earlier is that they took a tried and true design, and we've improved on it, and made it more manufacturable. We've made it look sleeker, made it look better, and in the process of doing those 2 things, it actually functions better. One additional benefit that we're bringing to our customers and to our manufacturing facilities as well is it's a universal product, which means it's one product that will fit multiple chimney brands.
I think that's might be one of the greatest things is the adaptability of it.
So as of the recording of this video, this podcast, it's approved for Duravent, Duratec, Selkirk Ultratemp, Selkirk Super Pro, and Amerivent TLC chimney.
It's a big win.
But this month we expect to have approval for security chimneys, ASHT and S2100, Duravent DTC and Duratec Premium, as well as the Super Pro 2000 or 2100, and the Ultimate Plus Selkirk lines. So it's a true product that crosses not only several brands but several families within those brands.
So, and I love to see this kind of innovation. I mean, a big shout out to the engineering team and the product development team for coming up with these things. This is one of the things Simon, our CEO, who you'll see on a future podcast, is always hammered home sort of innovation, new product design, new product development as a really important tenet of the company. And when we see these products roll out with more frequency than we have in the past, it's really exciting to see that come together.
For sure. So look for that at your local distributor. For those selling partners, make sure you ask your regional sales and your sales rep about the product. But it is ready for sale. It is ready for shipment, and we're ready to roll with it. So I think with that might be a wrap for this month's Duravent Group podcast. As always, we ask you to watch and listen, which you are right now. But if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please share it on our social media channels, on your social media, and continue to give us ideas, give us your questions, give us your thoughts on things that you want us to bring to this podcast. We've launched a new podcast email. You can take it directly. You can send an email directly to our podcast team. That's podcast@duraventgroup.com. Please feel free to use that, and also contact us on any of our social media channels. Brian, any final thoughts?
Definitely. I think the feedback's important. This is supposed to be informative, fun, interesting. People, customers, products. There's a lot of things to sort of share, but tell us what's interesting. So
absolutely. And as we go off into the sunset, cheers. We'll finish our wine.
I think I drank more of mine than you did. So
have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Cheers. That's a wrap.